Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I'd like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting for January 14th, 2026. For information on council meetings and how to participate, please visit our website at everettwa.gov/city council. We have a great crowd tonight. Thank you for being here. Thanks for bringing your families too. It's music to my ears. I appreciate that. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Here.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Right here.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes, here.
Councilmember Weir.
Excused?
Councilmember Bader.
Here.
Vice President Ryan.
Here.
President Schwab.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Bourbano to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask our Vice President, Paula Ryan, to read the land acknowledgement.
City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Shahobs people, and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty and their right to self-determination and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes to bring about a future that includes their voices, their stories, and their people for a more just and equitable society.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, President Schwab, Council, and community. It's my honor to invite Chief Getz forward to swear in a number of officers this evening.
Thank you, Council Member or President Schwab, Mayor Franklin, and council members. Today is a proud and meaningful day for the Everett Police Department. We are here to officially welcome a new group of officers who have chosen to serve this community with honor, integrity, and professionalism. Each of these officers arrive with a unique background, but they all share a common commitment to public service. Policing is ultimately about people, the people we serve and the people who serve beside us. These officers have earned their place here through hard work, discipline, and a clear desire to make a positive difference. We are proud to have them join our ranks, and we are confident they will represent the department and the city with professionalism and heart. To the family and loved ones here today, thank you. Your support makes this moment possible, and we are grateful to welcome you into the Everett Police Department family as well. And before I introduce our new police officers to be sworn in, I just want to give you a quick update. I have checked with the colleagues that are here, my colleagues that are here, and I don't think we've ever sworn in a larger group of officers than we have here tonight. We have 8, and in 6 months from now, we might have an additional 8 as well. And then finally, from a staffing update, we're down to only 14 vacancies, which is we're seeing the highest rate of, I should say the lowest vacancy rate that we've had a long time. So we're really proud of that, really proud of the staff for getting us to where we are. But let's talk about our new officers. Ashley Blum. Ashley was born and raised in Gig Harbor and is an accomplished gymnast. She earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology from the University of Washington, where she also studied psychology and criminology and competed on the University of Washington women's gymnastics team. Ashley chose law enforcement because she values meaningful community engagement and the opportunity to make a positive, lasting impact. She understands this career will continually challenge her to learn, grow under pressure, and serve with integrity. Josh Alekfi. Josh was born and raised in Bellevue after his parents immigrated to the United States from Romania in the late 1990s. After high school, he began his career at Home Depot, where he valued being part of a strong team. Though he knew he wanted to have a profession centered on service, Josh chose law enforcement as a way to give back to and protect the community he grew up in. Josh joins the Everett Police Department with his wife, Julia. John Green. John was born in Berlin, Germany, and lived there until age 7, when his family moved to Washington to be closer to relatives. After high school, John worked as a stonemason for 5 years before beginning his public safety career as a corrections deputy with the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. John has always wanted a career that makes a real positive impact in the community while offering a wide range of opportunities and assignments. John joins EPD with his wife, Kayla, and their daughter, Lucy. Danny Haggerty. Danny was born in Long Beach, California, and shortly thereafter moved to Everett, where he graduated from Mariner High School. After 17 years at Boeing working as a heavy structures mechanic, Danny is excited to begin his second career with the Everett Police Department. Danny and his wife, Jennifer, have been together for 16 years and have 2 children, Alana and Landon. As a lifelong Everett resident, now raising a family here, Danny has deep personal investment in the future of this community and is proud to serve the city he calls home. Troy Hirschkorn. Troy was raised in Ferndale and spent much of his youth training and competing in martial arts. He later moved to South Carolina to continue competing internationally into his 30s. In 2019, Troy joined the Army National Guard and completed an overseas deployment. He currently serves in the Army National Guard. Prior to joining EPD, Troy worked in the oil and gas industry as a process operator. Troy chose law enforcement to be part of something larger than himself, where high standards are expected on and off duty. Above all, he enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 children exploring the beautiful Northwest. Thanks, Troy. Jose Miranda Chacon. Jose was born in Washington State and has lived in Marysville most of his life. After high school, he attended Everett Community College before transferring to Washington State University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Prior to joining the Everett Police Department, Jose worked for Amazon. He was drawn to law enforcement because no 2 days are the same. You're right. And he looks forward to serving the community while meeting the challenges and opportunities the profession brings. Thank you, Nicole. Elena Perry. Elena grew up in Gig Harbor, so that's 2 from Gig Harbor, and has lived in Snohomish County for the past 8 years. She holds a bachelor's degree in law and justice from Central Washington University. Elena began her criminal justice career with the Washington State Department of Corrections, serving as both a corrections officer and a probation officer. She later joined the Marysville Police Department, where she served for more than 5 years as a field training officer and a detective. Elena chose to join Everett PD based upon her professional interactions with EPD detectives while serving on the Snohomish County Multiple Agency Response Team, or SMART. Thank you. Han Jia. Han was born and raised in Kent and attended the University of Washington, where he earned a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and a minor in computer science. He later completed a master's of science degree in electrical engineering at UW. Prior to joining EPD, Han worked as an electrical engineer at Boeing and as a hardware engineer at PACCAR. Han was inspired to change course by his parents, whose sacrifice paved his way and taught him the importance of looking out for others. He is honored to pay that forward by dedicating himself to the safety and well-being of our community.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, I'd accept the motion to accept Ashley Blum, Joshua Elekvi, Jonathan Green, Daniel Haggerty, Troy Hirschkorn, Jose Miranda Chacon, Elena Perry, and Ha Shihan as our newest police officers for the city of Everett.
I am honored to make that motion.
Seconded.
Motion and second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo,
Yes.
Councilmember Burbano,
Yes.
Councilmember Tui,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I am a citizen of the United States or a lawful permanent resident, that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and the charter and ordinances of the city of Everett, and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially perform the duties of police officer according to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Thank you.
So congratulations to all our new officers and the family. Thank you very much for joining the city family. And you're welcome to follow everyone out. You don't have to stay for the boring part of the meeting. But really excited to have these new officers. I think as Chief Getz was sharing, this puts us at 93%, which is really fantastic. So I'll wait a couple of seconds until they to finish my remarks. So a couple other brief announcements I've got this evening. Today, our Public Works Department is fully opened their doors on the first and second floor of the Everett Municipal Building. So a very exciting day. We've been wanting this for a long time, the one-stop shop for our residents. Utility billing is open on the first floor with office hours Monday through Friday, 8 to noon and 1 to 4. And permitting is now open on the second floor, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to noon and 1 to 3. I'm also pleased to recommend 3 individuals to the council to serve on 2 boards. I ask for your confirmation of, let's see, to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, Judy Pascal and Taylor Montaigne, to position 3 and position 4. Their terms expire December 31st, 2029. And to the Planning Commission, Kevin Ballard to position 1 for a term expiring December 31, 2031.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion?
So move the motion.
Seconded.
Okay, motion and second's been made. Is there any comment or questions from council? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, Mayor.
No further comments, just congratulations again to our officers. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to old business. Do you hear a motion to approve the minutes for January 7th, 2026?
So move.
Second the motion.
Motion second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, now we'll move to public comments, which includes written comment acknowledgement. Under our rules, written comments shall be considered in the same manner as an in-person comment. Submitters must put their name and their city of residence to make the public record for the council. Good evening, Angie. Do we have any written comments?
Good evening, yes, President Schwab, we do not have any written comments.
Okay, how about in chambers
We
or
have
online?
2 people in chambers, so if William could please come to the podium. Please hit the button on the base of the mic and state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
William Parent, Silver Lake. I don't think we should buy new playground equipment. I think we should get some concrete instead, maybe for like Marine View Drive or Broadway and Everett Avenue. But I mean, that's like way too soon to replace some playground equipment, you know? That's a community behavior, treating each other, you know? But it's my only suggestion. I mean, playground equipment, concrete save you money, but or make you money. Kind of replacing something that the community like destroyed with their behavior towards each other, you know? This I think it's way too soon to be replacing that playground, especially when there's a park like on every corner. They're not even full. I mean, I can understand if all the parks were getting full and you had to upgrade it, but it's just a suggestion. That's all.
Thank you. And John, if you could please come to the podium. And please hit the button on the mic and then you have state your full name, city residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
John Peoples, Everett, Washington. Good evening, City Council. I wish you all well. I begin tonight by acknowledging the sheer courage of Henry Knox and his men who, 250 years ago today, continued their weeks-long trek through the mud and the muck and the snow, sleet, and ice and blustery winter winds to haul the guns of Fort Ticonderoga to Boston for our patriot cause. I doubt any of those brave men would really like their proud feat of determination being denigrated with a weaselly worded land acknowledgement designed, it seems to me, to sow an unearned sense of shame in the hearts and minds of innocent citizens. Also, just last week, 250 years ago, Thomas Paine published his blessed pamphlet, Common Sense. In it, Paine cautions against the whims and whimsies of kings. I caution that even a local civic body, such as a city council, risks acting like a king, promoting, for instance, the enforcement of some duly elected laws while promoting the breaking and non-enforcement of others, and even the active obstruction of those trying to enforce those laws. I sincerely request that you use your elevated community positions to publicly declare that residents of Everett should not attempt to hinder federal law enforcement officers in the execution of their duties. I welcome Immigration and Customs Enforcement to Everett, and I invite you to do the same. I welcome the Everett Police Department's cooperation with their fellow law enforcement officers in holding accountable those who have violated our federal immigration laws. I invite you to do the same. I welcome everyone to speak his mind respectfully and peaceably, even if we may not agree with each other's points of view. I invite you to do the same. I can imagine those protesting ICE, if they must, doing so side by side with those celebrating and welcoming ICE to Everett, then all retiring to the local coffee shop to chat it out like cool, calm, and emotionally collected grown-ups. I invite you to do the same. And I also wanted to share the good news that the ICE agent who was severely injured last week in Minneapolis is recovering. And I invite you to join me in wishing him a speedy return to duty. And as long as you have the attention of the Seattle or Everett Public Schools, I'd like to invite you to encourage them to enable pro-ICE students to demonstrate their approval of ICE the way they approved anti-ICE students in showing their disapproval. Thank you.
That concludes our public comments.
Okay, thank you very much. We now have a guest presentation. I'd like to welcome the Everett Public School District Communications Director, Harmony Weinberg, and the team of amazing, and we're very lucky to have you in our community, Superintendent Dr. Ian Saltzman.
Thank you. Thank you for your time tonight, and Happy New Year to the council, and congratulations for appointing 8 officers tonight. That is great work, and it's wonderful to see. Well, I'm here tonight to talk to you with my team about our bond and levy that will be on February 10th is the election, and the ballots drop January 22nd. Tonight, we're going to give you a lot of information about why we're doing the bond and levy and what it brings to our city. But I want to reiterate that great schools and great cities make a great community. And the Everett Public School System, led by amazing teachers and staff, have done amazing work. Our test scores are outstanding. Our students are 96% have graduated, okay, which is a wonderful accomplishment. And we have built recently, which you'll be seeing, Jackson Elementary School will be completed on time by August. So you see a lot of great things that are happening. We're partners with you. Thank you for your great work in the city. But tonight you're going to hear the why and the how of what we're going to do. And we hope that we share with our community members and our council your support, because the 22nd will be here, and we're looking forward to expanding in our community with great schools, new schools, and great services. So again, thank you for your service, and thank you for allowing us to present tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Harmony Weinberg, who's our communication director, and our team tonight that is here with Harmony is Larry Fleckenstein, Kathy Woods, and Andy Tress. And tonight they're going to present to you on the information about the bond and the levy. So thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Saltzman. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor, for letting us have this opportunity to be here today. We are talking about our school construction bond and education levy, and we want to make sure that the community understands all that is going into this. So before we do that, I want to just make sure that you get the basis of our district, as Dr. Saltzman said. So we have more than 20,000 students that we serve in Everett Public Schools. We have more than 2,600 staff members, 27 schools, and as Dr. Saltzman said, we have the highest graduation rate we have ever had at 96.3. So a little bit about bonds and levies, as people are hearing more about this in the community for the upcoming election. So bonds, a simple way to think of bonds is bonds are for building and levies are for learning. A school construction bond would allow Everett Public Schools to address facility needs, such as new construction, which you'll hear about in a moment, renovations, safety improvements, and maintaining our schools. The funds that can only be used in a bond for capital projects, so not daily expenses. And bonds also require a supermajority, which means 60% is needed to pass. Levies, they're for learning. So the education levy is a renewal of the already existing education levy. And it provides funding for staffing and programs and daily operations of the district. It really bridges the gap between what the state funds and what it actually costs to operate schools. And so it also makes about 15% of the district's overall operating budget, which you'll hear more about in a moment. So now I am proud to introduce our Chief Operating Officer, Larry Fleckenstein, to talk us through the more details of the bond.
Thanks, Harmony. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. As a resident of the city of Everett, I thank you for your service. So I'm going to briefly review the projects that are on this construction bond, which we are labeling as Proposition 1. But how did we get here? Actually, we are about 16 months removed from the initial actions that led us to today. 16 months ago, our board and staff communicated about the need for our facilities and how we can meet those needs with the input of our community. And so 29 community members participated in a capital bond planning committee. We had 52 applicants. We couldn't take them all. But 29 of our representative community members did join this group along with district staff to support them. And we reviewed over a series of months going all the way up through June, 6 meetings and 2 community presentations for input to develop the package that we have presented we will present this evening. $1 billion of facility needs exist in Everett Public Schools, and yet we can't bite off the elephant with one bite, right? So the package that you see here represents the community and the community's input on what is most essential of it, $1 billion worth of facility needs. So this particular bond proposition is going to provide more space for our students and address overcrowding. It's going to update our aging facilities, provide safe and healthy schools for those old and aging buildings, and build new space that's related to STEM and our CTE career-connected learning programs to provide our students learning opportunities to be prepared for a future that's coming rapidly. So first, the new space. Space is essential for students to learn. And in Everett Public Schools right now, as Dr. Saltzman refers to them, learning cottages, some people call them portables. We have 103 portables just at the elementary level alone. We have 151 total portables in use every day in Everett Public Schools. What that means at the elementary level is 2.5 elementary schools worth of portables are in use every day. And if you break that down by the student elementary population across Everett schools, that means 1 out of every 4 children in Everett Public Schools learn in a learning cottage every single day. This particular bond proposition also is to build a new elementary school, which will draw enrollment off from several schools in the southeast portion of the school district to alleviate that overcrowding in the existing buildings and eliminating the need for portables in that area and across the district. We're also on this particular bond, construction bond, is to replace Lowell Elementary. Lowell Elementary was designed and built just after 1950. It served its purpose well. It's gone through several major renovations to add more capacity to it over time. But even today, it has 8 portables on its site for its children. And being as old as it was designed to standards that don't exist today, actually can't even meet codes by today. You'll see the very low ceilings in that building, very similar to Jackson Elementary, if you're familiar with that, which I know our mayor is, and Ms. Ryan. But Jackson Elementary is being rebuilt right now and was built at the exact same time, just about that same time that Lowell Elementary was built as well. And so one of our oldest elementary buildings needs to be replaced here. We'd also be renovating Everett High School's vocational building. The blue arrow that you see is the vocational building itself. The historic Everett High main building is across the street in the upper right-hand corner of the picture. The Career Connected Learning Program and special education classrooms are on the lowest level of this building and has yet to be renovated. We did receive some state money several years ago and renovated the top 2 floors on the interior, but we still have to renovate that lower floor. We would also be doing exterior envelope renovations to the building itself to restore its original state. We would also be making district-wide improvements on safety and security. Safety and security of students each and every day when their parents hand them off to us is a primary for our responsibility. We also need to take care of our community's investments by replacing aging roof and HVAC, flooring in our schools as well. We'll be replacing 4 playgrounds in this particular construction bond and be upgrading 2 track and fields and play fields at 2 middle schools within the district to synthetic sports fields. We've received a lot of input from our community that we need more space in our community for for kids to have youth athletic programs and to be able to play. And this would provide that need from the district, from the community that we received. Cascade High School was built in the early 1960s. Fantastic school. It's where I got my start in Everett Public Schools as an assistant principal. But its buildings are old. And now Building 2 in particular, which holds its performing arts library and cafeteria, in addition to instructional classroom space, needs to be rebuilt. Its facility is no longer, it's aging rapidly and has a lot of improvement work we need to do to it. It would be best to start over with that and envision a new campus for Cascade High School. We would also be building a new STEM CTE building on the facility. We have several outbuildings that are very old. This would consolidate them into one modernized building that would help us to create space so all students across the district could participate in our advanced manufacturing programs and our auto shop, which is very popular. In total, the construction bond totals $396.8 million. This would be 8 years worth of projects that it would be funding that we've shared with you this evening. And now I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Kathy Woods, to tell you a little bit about the
Quick question on this bond. Question about Madison Elementary School. Are the fundings already allocated for that replacement?
Madison Elementary was funded by the voters in the passing of the 2022 capital levy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be able to come and present to you today. And I'm going to just present briefly about the education levy, which is Proposition 2 on the February 10th ballot. It is a renewal of the educational programs and operations levy. So it's not a new tax. It would replace an expiring levy. That's a really important distinction. It continues funding for staffing, for services and programs that the state does not fully cover. The levy makes up about 15% of our district's operating budget. Without that 15%, we wouldn't be able to offer the kinds of programs that we are. So for example, levy funding supports staff that our students in schools rely on every day, including counselors, psychologists, social workers, classroom assistants, health room staff, custodians, and technology support. There's some funding for that from the state, but not enough really to really fund our schools the way our students deserve. It also funds academic programs such as STEM, highly capable programs, advanced placement, and college in the high school. In addition, the levy supports things near and dear to my heart, and I know many of yours, the arts, the music, the drama, and athletics. Our activities and athletics after school programs that really bring a lot of our kids into school and make school a place where they belong, the state provides zero funding for them. All of that funding comes from our local levies. Those programs are not funded by the state, but they really play an important role in student engagement and connection to school. And that's why we are running this replacement, renewing the education levy. And now I'd like to introduce our colleague, our Chief Financial Officer, Andy Tress, to give you the financial overview.
Thank you for having me tonight. I'm going to provide a brief financial overview of how districts are funded and the impacts to the community overall for both of the propositions. Just want to highlight how K-12 education is funded in Washington State. About 76% of the district's funding comes from the state, and that's typically driven by student enrollment overall. We have another 15% as 15% of our funding covered by our local levy, which right now is about $67 million in this year's budget. We have other sources and other funding coming from our federal programs of about 9%. So it includes federal programs, and it also includes food and nutrition local programs, as well as our investment income. That is investment income overall. When we look at what this means, both Proposition 1 and Proposition 2 in regarding to the homeowners tax rates, we're estimating our tax rate at $3.95 per thousand of assessed value. This tax rate is an increase from the current tax rate of about approximately 30 cents. However, it is lower than our 10-year average and lower than the rate that was estimated in the 2022 levies that were approved by our voters. That include both our education levy and a capital levy. In 2020, as I mentioned, in 2022, voters approved that capital levy, which allowed us to begin addressing urgent needs, including replacing Jackson Elementary and Madison Elementary schools, both built in the 1950s. Even with that progress, nearly $1 billion in facility improvements remain across the districts. The 2026 bond represents the next steps in long-term planning to address those needs responsibly. For a home valued of about $600,000, both measures together would mean about $15 more a month to homeowners. Most importantly, these measures allow us to meet students' needs today while keeping tax rates stable, predictable, and below past levels. Thank you. I will turn it over to Harmony Weinberg, our Director of Communications.
Thank you, Andy. So we want to just invite the community to some upcoming events to learn more about the bond and levy. These are coming up next week. We'll be at Cascade High School on Tuesday and Everett High School on Wednesday. And then the following week, we'll be at Heatherwood Middle School. All these events start at 6 p.m. and we really encourage all of you and the community to come and learn at these events. The way it's set up is we'll give a similar presentation to what you had with some videos included in it. And then following that, we have panels such as that with really good information that explains what the different pieces are of the bond, levy, finances, and the attendees can walk around and go to an area that interests them that they want to learn more about. So if you want to learn more about finances, Andy Tress will be there. We'll also have people there to talk about safety and security and some of the new systems that would go in if the bond were successful, learn about Lowell and what that means for building that. So it's a really interactive opportunity for the community. And that's why we have 3 events in our different that feed into our different high schools. So everyone is hopefully able to get to one that is close to home. So to learn more about the levy, we have a QR code there and we can go to our website. You'll see it on the homepage of the district website. And please, our biggest ask is to please remember to vote by February 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Mayor?
I just want to thank you all for sharing the information. I know our residents will be really interested in the additional information that they can seek, and just also how much I appreciate the outstanding Everett Public School system. You guys do such an amazing job. Dr. Saltzman, you're an outstanding superintendent and you really show up for kids, and proud mom of an Everett Public School student, but really it's what makes our city so fantastic is to have such great schools. It brings businesses, brings families here. So thank you for your leadership and work. That's it.
Okay. And yes, thank you, Dr. Saltzman and your team for a great presentation. And thank you very much for being here. All right. We'll move on to council comments. We'll begin with Councilmember Zarlingo.
Thank you, President Schwab. Well, first of all, I want to express my gratitude to the Everett Police Department. 8 is, I think, indeed a record for my time on the council. I was impressed by the accomplishments and the diversity of that group, the backgrounds they had, the skills. In particular, one electrical engineer who came from the private sector and had another career in public service. So there you go. I can say that's an excellent choice for him to serve this city. A couple of events in the past week. Last week, Mayor Franklin and I and Governor Ferguson, who's also an Everett High graduate, attended, many others attended this public launch of the Cascadia Sustainable Aviation Fuel Accelerator. There's a mouthful. It's a region-wide organization to take on the whole value chain to bring renewable, sustainable aviation fuel to wider adoption. It's now, sustainable aviation fuel is now kind of a niche and higher in cost than regular jet fuel produced from fossil sources. But Boeing is already on board using 30% mix of this sustainable fuel, which they can drop in with regular jet fuel to power their test aircraft and their corporate aircraft. And this effort, this accelerator is supported by the Northwest Innovation Resource Center, which this council has voted to support in the past. Technically and commercially, it's a big lift with promises to make a big difference, especially in terms of renewable resources that way. As I listened to the speakers, looked at the progress they've been making so far and the organizations involved, including our own WSU Everett, I realized that we've been doing a pretty credible job with job generation here in this region and in Everett. However, that's been intensifying our housing shortage and affordability problems. I know solutions in that area are going to be a focus of this council and this administration and part of our agenda item 4 tonight. So we'll be getting to that. One other meeting, the Transportation Policy Board of the Puget Sound Regional Council. They're working, one of the big lift of theirs is the Regional Transportation Plan, which they update every 4 years. They've released a draft of this plan for public comment. The plan influences all of us. It does a lot to determine the projects that actually get funded, especially where federal funds are involved. And public comment is welcomed through February 2nd, and all comments are analyzed and responded to. So your comments make a difference. If you're interested in any of that, just search in a search engine for Regional Transportation Plan. You'll see that one there. That's it for my comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Bubano.
I'm really happy to see that we are getting more police officers on board. For what I hear, what I saw today, I'm really happy that we are hiring the correct type of people for the job. It is important, especially with the political climate that we are facing right now. It is important that we get the right people in the job. So thank you for that. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Tui.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the city and the police department for 8 new officers. And I agree with my both of my council members up here. It's great that it really reflects our community. And I know we've been working hard on doing that over the whole time I've been here. So I think we're doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bader.
Just one quick thing. Last night I went to the Riverside neighborhood meeting and either learned or relearned after I forgot from Lieutenant Fontaine that our police officers went through training on enforcing the noise ordinance back in the fall, I think it was. And I just think that's a really great thing. I really appreciate the emphasis we made on that, because that's one of the complaints I commonly hear when I'm out in the community is complaints about noise violations, whether it's loud mufflers or neighboring businesses or neighboring neighbors. So really appreciate the emphasis on that. And thanks for helping me learn something that maybe I either hadn't learned or needed to relearn. So thanks again.
Thank you. Councilmember Ryan.
Thank you. On Monday, I attended the Port Gardner Neighborhood Association meeting and had a great presentation from Everett Public Schools, and also Deb Fox, who is a local historian, and she's also an artist. She's has a book and a graphic novel out, which is pretty cool, about Everett history. And she's also done the art for a number of the interpretive signs that we see around the city, including the recently unveiled Women of Everett in Everett History informational sign that's outside of the municipal building. She gave a really great presentation with wonderful pictures, historic pictures that I hadn't seen before, of going more into depth on some of the women in Everett's history, but also she did a great presentation about Clark Park. And so I wanted to share a fun fact. Clark Park originally had a bandstand and a gazebo, which I did know about, but it also had a duck pond and an ice skating rink. Fascinating. I think that's great. Thank you again to Everett Public Schools for your presentation. I wanted to share a reminder to folks about for voting on February 10th. If you mail in your ballot, the U.S. Post Office procedures for postmarking your mail has changed. So if you put something in the mail, it's not a guarantee that it will be postmarked the day that you mail it. So mail now gets collected and I believe sent down to Renton or Kent to our regional processing center. And that process can maybe take a day or two. So it's not a guarantee that your mail will get postmarked day of mailing. So if you do submit your ballot on February 10th, I would highly encourage either dropping it in a county Dropbox or asking the person at the post office to stamp it that day to guarantee that it is postmarked day of. Otherwise, it won't be counted by our county auditor's office. So just a friendly reminder about that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that the council retreat will take place January 31st at 9 a.m. until approximately 3 p.m. at the Everett Station Warehouse Room on the 4th floor, located at 3201 Smith Avenue. The public is welcome to attend, but public comment will not be permitted. Administrative report.
No report. Thank you.
Okay. How about our city attorney?
Sure. We're asking for a 15-minute executive session to discuss 3 litigation matters pursuant to RCW 423110-1I with council action to follow. And due to staffing issues, we're hoping we can do that now rather than at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Anything else?
No report.
Okay. So we'll go into executive session for 15 minutes. Okay, well, welcome back. We're finished with our executive session. And I'd like to refer to our city attorney, David Hall.
Thank you. We're looking for authority to settle 3 employment-related claims. I think we should do these individually. The first is an employment-related claim by former bus operator Teresa Herod in the amount of $75,000. So we're hoping for a motion to authorize the mayor to execute that settlement agreement.
Councilmember Bader, so moves.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, motion and second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo,
Yes.
Councilmember Burbano,
Yes.
Councilmember Tui,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Vice President Ryan,
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes.
Thank you. The second is a workers' compensation settlement with Fire Captain Barry Pomeroy in the amount of $95,000, $95,160. So we're asking for a motion to authorize the mayor to execute that settlement agreement.
Councilmember Bader, so moves.
Seconded.
Motion and seconds made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Burbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes.
And third, we're asking for a motion to authorize the mayor to execute a settlement agreement with firefighter Elliott Ward for a workers' compensation claim in the amount of $350,200.
Move to make that authorization.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Motion and seconds been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Burbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, we'll move to our consent items. We have 3. Do I hear a motion?
Councilmember Ryan moves approval of the 3 consent agenda items.
Second the motion?
Motion and seconds been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Burbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, next we have a public hearing for a proposed action item, which I read into the record already. So we'll open the public hearing on Council Bill 2512-91. And I'll begin with staff report.
Thank you, Council President Schwab, members of the council, Mayor Franklin, I'm York Stevens Watched, Planning Director. Gave a briefing on this Everett 2044 housekeeping ordinance last week. Wanted to bring to your attention, I mentioned last week that this was coming. We have some proposed language to amend into one of the sections. There are 2 topics that are in this sheet that was handed out to you today. One of them is a inflation provision that was recommended by the Planning Commission, and it was missed by staff adding it into that ordinance. And that is the proposed 1954-060C, which would increase the fee in lieu rates by the CPIU, Consumer Price Index for urban consumers, for the previous 12-month period. Above that, we have a couple of changes in response to some feedback that we heard about how we know that a fee in lieu for owner occupancy is actually going to be an ownership product. So when we drafted the ordinance, we had a requirement that the applicant record a covenant that would restrict the units for which a fee in lieu for the units intended for owner occupancy, set at $9 in here, would restrict the units to only owner occupancy for a period of 12 years. What this is trying to ensure is that, as we have it drafted here, there would be a $15 per square foot fee in lieu. The $9 per square foot fee in lieu would be for ownership product. That's a 40% reduction in that rate. That 40% is designed to align the cost to a developer, or the foregone revenue to a developer, with the different ownership versus rental. The covenant for 12 years was seen to be a real issue with sales. Could lead to reduced sales, could lead to delayed sales, could lead to problems for the homeowners using their home as they would like for those 12 years. So a couple of options that we looked at staff over the last week after hearing this, and we proposed 2 other ways to guarantee that the property is owner occupied or is actually intended for ownership. One of them is that each unit would be sold separately. So we would enter into an agreement with the applicant And no block of units could be sold to another entity, which would then turn around and rent them, which would thwart the purpose of that lower fee in lieu rate. And then there is a catch-all option for something that we haven't thought of yet that would be acceptable to both the city and the applicant that would similarly guarantee that this is actually for owner occupancy. So those are the two changes that staff would like to propose adding into the ordinance. Otherwise, there are a number of issues in that ordinance. Inclusionary zoning is only one of them, but I would defer to the council for which topics you may want to ask questions or have more discussions on.
Okay, and thank you. And we'll go to public comment first and then don't go anywhere. Thank you. All right, Angie, are there anyone to speak in public comment?
Yes, there is one.
Okay.
And please, if you could please hit the button on the mic and state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Russell Joe, Master Builders, work address 335 116th Avenue, Bellevue. Thank you for the opportunity to speak during the public hearing on this topic. I'd like to focus my comments on the inclusionary zoning modification that's before council. Master Builders appreciates the willingness to look at inclusionary zoning. As you may remember during the discussion for the comp plan, we had registered our concerns about having inclusionary zoning, even in a small area in South Everett, and voiced those concerns. We appreciate that council has taken an opportunity to look at the rate of $15 per square foot and perhaps reducing it down to $9 a square foot, which is something that we would wholeheartedly support. It does equalize the opportunities to have rental units built or home ownership opportunities. And I know the council in numerous conversations that I've had with each of you want to make sure that home ownership is an opportunity and open to people here in Everett as you are building out your housing stock. We do appreciate that thought was given to doing that and that staff and the mayor took a careful look to analyze that in that November 18th memo from the Planning Commission that was referenced at the last meeting. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to do that. We are so impressed with the analysis that was done by your planning director that we have passed that on to the other government affairs directors and staff at our office, because the numbers that you're using can be plugged into other places in King County and other jurisdictions that we use to make an argument that to encourage homeownership, the real rate should be X. Now, it could be higher than it's set by a city, and it could be lower than it's set by a city. But having that conversation is such an important thing. We appreciate the careful analysis that the mayor and staff did to do this. We would hope that you would be favorable to approving the $15 to $9 change so that homeownership could be an opportunity in this area in South Everett. We appreciate the time and effort that was made to do that, and we appreciate all the conversations that we've had with council members, making sure that this issue was well thought out and the conversation was robust as we went forward with this. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. And I believe that's all we have for public hearing comments.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Councilor Zarlingo.
Well, I guess, Yorick, thank you for the briefing and thanks for our public comment. I guess if I remember this correctly, I mean, we've been building quite a few rental units. I think the thing we are lightest on is middle housing, middle range housing, market rate housing, and ownership. I guess I want to make sure that, because that's what we're focusing on here. Have I got that thrust right?
Yes, indeed. When we designed it, we had the same structure for both rental and owner. It's a different financial picture for developing ownership product, whether that's condominiums in multi-story buildings or townhouses or houses. We do have a policy in the comprehensive plan, HO 12, boost home ownership opportunities through administrative, regulatory, and financial benefits. That's one of the things that we were trying to better implement with this housekeeping provision.
And compared to other communities, I mean, we have a majority renters here as opposed to most of the other communities in Snohomish County. So this is the thing, we need more than they do.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilman Ryan.
Thank you. Thanks for the information about the fee, adjusted with inflation indexed over time. That is great to know. Let's see, I do have concerns about, the 12-year, the covenant, with the 12-year designation. 12 years seems like a really long time. And it seems, maybe a little bit unnecessarily overburdensome or prescriptive. So I would, welcome comments and input from colleagues on that. I would like to definitely ensure, first-time home buyer preferences and home ownership opportunities, but as far as a 12-year covenant designation, I do have concerns about that being too overly burdensome. I had a question about, so we had talked, if I remember correctly, at last week's meeting that the fee in lieu would be only applicable to homeownership opportunities, and that the homeownership opportunities would be for housing at 100% AMI. And then, so is there a certain percentage of units with the housing development that would need to meet that 100% AMI threshold?
Yeah, as it was originally adopted in July, 20% of the units, regardless if it was rental or owner, needed to be affordable to 80% of area median income. To better reflect the financial picture around developing ownership product and how they're sold and everything, we in this housekeeping ordinance propose revising the affordability standard for ownership product to 80% of area median income, 20% of the units. So if you built 10 units, 2 of them would need to be affordable to a household earning up to 100% of the area median income for 50 years. For ownership product, that's complicated because you need to ensure that the home is purchased at a lower rate initially and isn't just turned around then and sold for a windfall for the person. So it's going to involve likely a community land trust or some other organization to manage that unit and get a fair rate of return for the homeowner who is in the affordable unit, and then keeping it affordable at the resale so that in 25 years, let's say, that 20% of the units remain affordable still.
Great, thank you. So I had mentioned last meeting, one of the concerns that I had about the reduction in fee in lieu was that a concern that I had at the time was that it might unravel the work that we had done during the comprehensive plan to protect against the economic displacement of folks who are in sub areas that had been designated as high probability for displacement. And so in discussions with housing folks and experts, I am now realizing that it will actually be good for the community. But I'm still worried about displacement. And so I remember a presentation we had a couple years ago about naturally occurring affordable housing, which I thought was a awfully tongue-in-cheek term. But I would like to see this actually go towards new housing and new housing developments only. So over this, I wanted to share publicly on the record with my colleagues that next week I'll be bringing an amendment forward that the fee in lieu for homeownership opportunities would only be applicable for new housing developments in these sub areas. So it wouldn't be to, I want to disincentivize folks buying housing and tearing it down and then replacing it with fancier housing, which is a guarantee of economic displacement. But if there is a vacant lot that could be redeveloped into housing, this would apply. This policy would apply to help with infilling housing on the vacant lots, which is a policy goal that we all have as well, and also encouraging new housing. So love to work with York over the next week to craft language for that. And then next week I'll be bringing forward an amendment that this would only apply to a new housing in the sub area zones, but not necessarily net new housing, if that makes sense. So just wanted to give a courtesy heads up. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments? And I would just ask Councilman Ryan, would you be open for input from other council members during this week of development?
Yes, but I believe I could only hear from 2 others before it becomes a serial meeting.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. All right, thank you very much. Seeing no comments or questions, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Councilmember Ryan, so moves.
Seconded.
Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to our action items. Item number 5, third and final reading, Council Bill 2512-88. Adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Pedestrian Safety RRFB, Everett Avenue and 79th Place Southeast. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and seconds made. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Item number 6, Council Bill 2512-89, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 4010-24 entitled Walter E. Hall Park Community Connection Path.
So move.
Motion,
Second the motion?
seconds are made. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Item number 7, Council Bill 2512-90, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled I-5 /U2-2 Highway 2 intern ramp improvements. Excited about that.
Councilmember Bader, so moves.
Seconded.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bourbano.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Vice President Ryan.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay. Next, we have a briefing. Item number 8, Everett Public Library Annual Update. Is Abby in the room? Oh, there she is. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Franklin and council members. I'm Abigail Cooley. I'm the Everett Public Library Director, and I am joined by Joshua Glasgow, the Everett Public Library Board of Trustees President. Thank you for the opportunity to share this annual update on the library's operations, including an update on our strategic planning process.
Good evening. Over the past year, the Everett Public Library continued to fulfill its vital role by providing equitable access to books, digital resources, technology, learning opportunities, and welcoming public spaces. As a cornerstone of the community, the library enriches lives by connecting residents to information, resources, and one another, supporting an informed, engaged, and inspired Everett. This year also brought significant financial challenges as budget reductions tied to the city's structural deficit required difficult decisions. Despite reduced funding, the library's commitment to equity, literacy, and community connection remained unwavering. The extraordinary dedication of library staff, trustees, volunteers, and community partners made it possible to sustain essential services and lifelong learning while remaining a safe and welcoming space for all. This report highlights how we adapted, the hard, sometimes painful choices we faced, and the meaningful impact achieved through collaboration. In 2025, the Everett Public Library experienced an approximately 12% budget reduction. These challenges were compounded by significant uncertainty and cuts at the federal and state levels as well. Funding for the Institute of Museum and Library Services, or IMLS, the primary federal agency supporting libraries, was eliminated, halting federal support for libraries nationwide and affecting local programs and projects. At the state level, reductions to the Washington State Library further limited services for residents, staff training opportunities, and funding the library relied on to deliver key services. At the same time, rising costs for essential materials and services intensified these pressures. As digital circulation surpasses physical circulation, the high cost of e-content has become a growing strain. Unlike physical books, which libraries purchase once and lend repeatedly, ebooks are licensed. A single digital title can cost between $60 and $120, allows only one user at a time, and expires, disappearing after a set number of checkouts or amount of time, and requiring the library to repurchase the same content repeatedly. As a result, a larger share of our budget is spent relicensing fewer materials, reducing overall access for the community. In response to these challenges, the library took the following actions. We prioritized core services, reduced staffing through keeping vacancies open, allowing staff to opt into the city's voluntary separation program, and working with our labor partners to offer voluntary furloughs and reduced work schedules in lieu of laying off staff. Staffing decreased by more than 6 full-time employees between 2024 and 2025, and by over 19 FTEs since 2018. We slashed service hours by 25% from 96 to 72 hours per week. And we shrank the materials budget by $230,000, nearly 1/3 of the previous total. Every dollar was carefully stretched, and the library remains committed to responsible stewardship and transparency about the impacts of reduced funding. These cuts were not easy for the board of trustees or the library staff to make. And we know our community was impacted in multiple ways through reduced evening, weekend, and Monday access, fewer new materials, longer wait times, worsened by the sudden closure of a major supplier, fewer programs, events, and available meeting spaces, elimination of hotspot lending, curtailing access to affordable Wi-Fi, and increased workload, stress, and burnout for staff as rising community needs outpaced available resources. In 2025, library staff focused on preserving core services, including remaining open as much as possible, given staffing constraints, and in an equitable manner between the downtown and Evergreen branch locations, maintaining access to print collections and digital resources, providing research and reference assistance via telephone, email, and in person, including in our one-of-a-kind Northwest room, ensuring community members have computer access, Wi-Fi connection, and printing, copying, and scanning services, supporting early literacy, and offering safe, inclusive spaces for community connection. Community demand for library services remains strong despite our financial constraints. We are a community hub welcoming close to 250,000 visitors and drawing over 13,000 people to nearly 500 programs and events. In 2025, patrons checked out over 228,000 physical items and more than 245,000 digital items, marking the first time in our city's history circulation of digital materials surpassed that of physical items. Our skilled librarians also answered over 51,000 questions from diverse community members, which equates to roughly 14 questions an hour. And free Wi-Fi was available during all open hours, with the library's public computers used 29,412 times for job applications, schoolwork, benefits enrollment, and entertainment. Everett Public Library regularly reviews its resources to ensure strong value, a positive user experience, and broad access. In response to budget constraints, we made targeted changes to our database offerings, resulting in significant cost savings while supporting a responsive, future-ready library. To extend our capacity for outreach, services, and programming, we continued strengthening our community connections through conversations, information sharing, and partnerships with local organizations, including WorkSource, Evergreen Goodwill, the Village on Casino Road, and Snohomish County Human Services. In addition, we partnered with the WSU Snohomish County Extension Master Gardeners to offer 6 free gardening workshops. We successfully continued our free and heavily utilized monthly legal clinic in partnership with Snohomish County Legal Services. These clinics are consistently full and help connect 199 Everett residents to civil legal services in 2025. With the support of the Snowco Movie Club, monthly film screenings were hosted at the main branch of the library. We were able to establish a consistent library presence at the Carl Gibson Center, offering account and reference services to seniors. We began offering free naloxone kits at both branches through the Washington State Department of Health's overdose education and naloxone distribution program. And we installed 2 permanent book walks at Haug Homestead Park and the Evergreen Arboretum. Families can now enjoy stories while exploring outdoor spaces year-round. Special thanks to Councilmember Tui, who allocated ARPA funding for this project. Moreover, the library launched 7 new kits for free checkout through the Library of Things, expanding access to hands-on learning tools. These kits support skill building across the community, including items such as ukuleles, sewing machines, home canning, bike repair, and home improvement tools, citizenship resources, Legos, blood pressure monitors, telescopes, and more. I'd like to thank the Friends of the Everett Public Library and our many generous donors who continue to support our programming and make it possible. In 2025, the Friends, a 501c3 organization, contributed over $12,000 and provided much of the funding for our all-ages summer reading club. We're also grateful to the Women's Book Club, which founded the Everett Public Library in 1894, and who continued their legacy of giving with a $5,000 donation in 2025 to support library services. Additionally, we deeply appreciate the many individual donors who support the library through endowments and one-time gifts. Their generosity reflects a shared belief in the value of library services, and we are honored to carry that legacy forward in our service to our community. By borrowing physical and digital items from the library instead of purchasing them, patrons saved over $7.2 million last year and were able to access materials and resources they may not otherwise have been able to afford. This allowed community members to reinvest those savings back into other local businesses. Our director's analysis on return on investment shows for every dollar budgeted for the Everett Public Library, we received $2.13 in community benefit. That's right, for every $1 budgeted for the library, the city sees more than 100% return on its investment. And this is a modest estimate because it does not begin to account for the myriad ways Everett Public Library creates positive change, which ripples through our community. Behind every number is a person, and even in a lean year, lives were changed. An intern in the ACES Big Picture High School internship program shared that their time at the library helped them overcome social anxiety, build leadership skills, and even start a book group at their school. A teen asked the librarian for book recommendations and discovered the library's extensive boy love romance collection. Delighted, they checked out 20 books in a Pride for Teens book list, sharing that they had never had access to books that reflected their identity. A regular patron secured a job with support from Evergreen branch librarians who assisted him throughout the application process, helped him access a computer for a virtual interview, and even helped him click accept on his job offer. After years as a stay-at-home mom, a patron returned to the workforce with the library's help. When she asked a prospective employer for an application, she was told it was all online. So she came to the library to learn computer skills needed to complete the online application. She's now employed and continues to build her digital skills through the Everett Public Library. A new preschool storytime caregiver felt welcomed and included when they saw their language, Croatian, along with Spanish, French, Telugu, Russian, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, and ASL represented in Storytime. At the end of the fall preschool Storytime series, a parent shared how deeply their family valued the program for their deaf daughter as she prepared for full-time preschool. Their experience helped shape more accessible Storytimes, including normalizing the use of American Sign Language, printed craft instructions, visual slides, and light cues to better support deaf and hard of hearing patrons. Another parent shared that coming to the library helped her postpartum depression, and 3 years later, her family still comes to the library at least once a week. A patron who had read The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune asked a librarian for book suggestions. The book made her want to be more accepting of her gay son, and our librarian showed her some search techniques to find out more about LGBTQ issues in fiction and nonfiction materials. A Ukrainian refugee used the library to get established in Everett and complete their immigration paperwork. He was able to get everything copied, scanned, and faxed thanks to the library's free services. A patron who self-identified as unhoused shared that they rely on the library for access to computers and to read the local newspaper, noting that staying informed about local news helps them remain safe. Another patron shared they appreciate the adult arts and craft classes we offer. They shared they don't have $150 to go to an art class, so our free classes help them be able to enjoy learning new things. A young mother who self-identified as low income came with her son to one of our bike repair clinics in partnership with Sharing Wheels. They were hoping to get the nuts and bolts tightened as the handlebars were loose. However, it was evident there was more work that needed done, and the crew installed new brakes, reflectors, pedals, and a new saddle to replace the tattered one. The mother and son ended up leaving not just with tightened bolts, but with a fully repaired bike, ensuring the child could ride safely. These stories and others remind us why library services matter, especially when resources are scarce. The dedicated employees of the Everett Public Library regularly go above and beyond for our community by teaching critical literacy and research skills, meeting patrons where they are by bringing services outside the library's walls, and helping families in need. Their commitment to this community is inspirational, and their work creates a better world for Everett residents, giving them access to safe spaces and possibilities that may not otherwise have been able to be achieved. For many in our community, the Everett Public Library is their primary access point to technology, learning support, reliable information, and social connection. Now, I'll let Abby continue from here.
Over the past year, significant time and care went into developing the library's 2026 to 2028 strategic plan in close partnership with our consultants, Eric and Sheffy of Whole Mind Strategy. Through conversations with residents, staff, partners, and city leaders, one message was clear. The library remains essential to Everett's civic life, even as it faces serious challenges. The draft plan reflects this input, acknowledging reduced hours, staffing shortages, and growing pressures on public spaces, while also recognizing the extraordinary dedication of library staff who continue to serve the community despite limited resources. At the same time, the planning process revealed a shared sense of possibility. Staff and community members described a vision of a library with stable funding, one that is reliably open, fully staffed, safe and welcoming, and visible throughout the city, both inside and outside of our physical branches. The plan was developed through a focused, inclusive process that balanced broad community input with the library's operational realities. Engagement included interviews with trustees and 12 community partners, listening sessions with patrons, and a community survey in 8 languages with 517 responses. These insights formed a set of strategic issues that we explored during a full-day workshop, using future-focused scenarios to identify priorities and trade-offs that would position the library for success under any conditions. Across all groups, there was strong consensus that current operating conditions do not reflect the community's needs or expectations. While staff remain deeply committed to the library's mission, meaningful progress requires restored funding. In response, the Board of Trustees has set a goal of returning the library to full funding by the end of 2027. With this goal in mind, staff envisioned what the library could be by 2028 with sustainable resources, restored hours, fully staffed branches, reduced burnout, consistent programming for all ages, renewed outreach through mobile services, balanced approaches to traditional services and community needs, and stronger communications that highlight the library's value. This vision provides the foundation for the plan's 5 strategic goals and reflects not only staff aspirations, but what the Everett community deserves from its library. The 5 strategic goals include reinforcing core services. The library will prioritize high-impact services based on usage data and community feedback, and will explore staggering branch schedules to maximize access. Number 2, make high-impact, low-cost modifications to the main library's configuration. While the main library is valued by staff and patrons, safety concerns remain. Targeted, low-cost layout changes, such as adjusting shelving, refreshing and reconfiguring seating, and rethinking use of the cafe space, can improve safety, flexibility, and the overall experience for traditional library users. Number 3, clarify and support the library's role in social services. The library should partner with social services agencies, not attempt to become one. Clear boundaries, defined behavior expectations, and consistent enforcement responsibilities are essential so staff understand their role in maintaining a safe environment. 4, strengthen outreach services. Outreach expands the library beyond its building by bringing services directly into the community. The library will strengthen partnerships to host programs and shared services, such as book lockers, story times, and technology training, and explore reestablishing mobile service to reach underserved neighborhoods. And number 5, increase community visibility with a sustained communications capacity. The library will increase community visibility through sustained, consistent communications that shares the library's value and challenges. The library will partner with the Friends of the Library and the Board of Trustees to strengthen advocacy and coordinate with the city around future budget or electoral efforts to restore funding. The draft plan outlines how we will accomplish the 5 strategic goals, and the steps outlined in the plan will help us both meet today's needs and earn the community support necessary to ensure our future. The Board of Trustees is anticipated to vote to adopt the final strategic plan at the next board meeting on January 21st. A full draft of the plan should have been shared with council members, and we welcome any feedback by the end of day on Friday, January 16th.
As we look ahead, we are excited to begin the work of implementing the strategic plan, stabilizing staffing and restoring open hours once funding permits, improving our spaces and technology, and pursuing grants and external funding. Most importantly, we'll continue to support every community member who enters our doors. We continue to strongly urge council members to do everything in their power to ensure appropriate funding levels for the library in the coming years, including by reassessing budgeting priorities based on the community benefit our library provides, or by identifying new sources of revenue to be specifically applied to library operations. It cannot be overstated, the return on investment from fully funding library services is significant. Your work to improve the financial future for the city and the Everett Public Library will materially affect the overall well-being of our city and all its residents and families. With your continued and full support, there's no limit to what we as a community can achieve. In closing, we would like to thank city leadership and city council for your support of the Everett Public Library. We're proud to serve this community and be partners in education, economic development, and quality of life. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our incredible staff who have done more with less, yet continue to provide outstanding and essential service to our community. The volunteers who have contributed their time and their talents, the friends of the library and other donors who have financially supported the library's mission, community partners and advocates who help us connect with the community and provide meaningful programs and services, and our patrons, the people of Everett, who continue to utilize and champion the library. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments from council? Councilmember Ryan.
Great. Thank you so much for the presentation. The Everett Public Library is such a wonderful gem of the city, both branches. I share the sentiment that we do need to find funding to fully open our libraries. The numbers that we had last, I believe, are 2 or 3 years old at this point of like, what would it take to reopen the libraries full time? So I would like to request some updated numbers, possibly by maybe our retreat, just so that we can keep that in mind as we're talking about revenue options for this coming year of, you know, what is that mark that we need to meet in order to make sure that our libraries are open 7 days a week. Thank you.
Councilmember Tui.
Yeah, I just want to thank Abby and your board president. Really appreciate all the hard work you've had to do. Really, I know it's been a rough couple years. I feel like we've been cutting the library frequently, and you guys do an amazing job. And I look forward to looking at the budget again, and sure hope we can help you out. Thank you.
Councilmember Bader.
Thanks. I've been grateful to serve as our liaison to the library board and just great people, Josh and Abby and all the library trustees. Just a couple of things wanted to that kind of stick with me. One is kind of that not tension is the wrong word, but dilemma between providing core traditional library services might be whatever, and the community services and programming that, you know, so many people like and want to access, but you know, when you have to choose, it's kind of hard. Always been intrigued by the library things and that expansion of kind of the library's mission. And one thing I think I've noted to my fellow council members occasionally is as we watch the usage numbers, and Abby is always great at providing that at the library board meetings, that the usage of the South Everett branch has barely declined. Maybe barely is not a right word, but has not declined anywhere near as much as the usage of the main library. And I think that's just something notable we want to be mindful of. Those numbers, the numbers, the trend line for the South Everett branch seems to have not been as deep a dip as the main branch. I think anyhow, just a notable number I think is, or at least I found intriguing and want to make sure you all were aware of as well. So thanks for doing the report. Great report.
Thank you. Councilmember Bono.
Thank you so much for your presentation. We are heavy users of the library, mostly my wife. She reads about like 2 books a week, and she actually reads in English. And she also reads in Spanish because the library does offer that possibility of getting books in Spanish. Something fantastic about the libraries is in our personal opinion as immigrants, is that in our countries, we don't have libraries. We have libraries, but they are private libraries. So you have to go to enroll in in university or college in order to be able to have access to a library, or you have to go to a museum or something like that to have access to a library. So it is amazing from a point of view that there are libraries that you can just walk in, part of the community. You can have the neighborhood meeting in the library and that type of thing. So we cannot let that go away. And it's something that we really appreciate. So I heavily believe that the city council and the city, we should try to support the library as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Any council comments or questions? Once again, thank you again for the annual report. Really appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Okay, that comes to the end of our business, and with no further business to go, we are now adjourned.